Business 200 in Principles of Marketing, Chapter 7. So we're still in Unit 2, Understanding Your Customer. This is the last chapter in that unit. It's Chapter 7, Segmentation, Targeting, and Positioning. Here are your learning objectives. Here's the executive perspective. All right, market segmentation. Market segmentation is a process of dividing a larger market into smaller groups or market segments based on meaningfully shared characteristics. Market segments are the relatively homogeneous groups of consumers that result from the segmentation process. Here is an example of Five Guys Burgers using market segmentation. So a potential market segment must meet 5 criteria. Keep them in mind as we examine the main characteristics marketers use to segment markets: demographic, geographic, psychographic, and behavioral. Marketers divide markets into segment using segmentation bases, which are characteristics of consumers that influence their buying behavior. There are different segmentation bases for business to consumer and business to business markets. Companies divide markets using characteristics such as age, gender, income, education, and family size to achieve demographic segmentation. Age and gender are the most commonly used demographic variables because they are often the easiest to identify. For example, a marketer does not have to be skilled to recognize whether someone is young or old. Age is a especially valuable segmentation tool in areas such as food, housing, and healthcare. Segmentation or segmenting by age also enables companies to target multiple age segments with the same product. Gender is a valuable segmentation variable for products ranging from clothing to soft drinks to medications. Income provides marketers with a valuable segmentation tool because it affects consumers' ability to buy goods and services. Of course, marketers can successfully define that needs and wants of customers at all income levels and design appropriate marketing strategies. And then marital status can be a helpful demographic segmentation tool. Here's a visual showing you the 4 bases of segmentation. Here's an example on how McDonald's segments markets. Geographic segmentation. The value consumers place on a product can vary greatly by region. The size of a market is an important geographic segmentation tool. IKEA marketers prefer to locate new stores in areas where at least 2 million people live within a 60-mile range. This type of geographic segmentation requires information about the entire market beyond just the city and county. Cracker Barrel's Old Country store, for example, has developed a successful restaurant and retail business across the U.S. by locating its stores in convenient geographic locations. A major component of Cracker Barrel's marketing strategy has been to place locations along interstate highways. The 2010 census illustrated a shifting U.S. population. Southern states like Texas and Florida grew substantially. Many northern states, including Ohio, Michigan, and New York, grew at a slower rate or not at all. Here's an example of customer convenience for the Cracker Barrel. And then this is showing what states lost people in their population and what states grew based on the number of representatives for each state. Psychographic segmentation allows marketing professionals to create a more meaningful profile of market segments by focusing on psychological and personality traits. Perhaps the most commonly used psychographic segmentation tool is the VALS framework. VALS identifies three primary motivations: ideals, achievements, and self-expression. The availability of resources affect each group's ability to act on its primary motivation. High resource, achievement motivated achievers emulate the groups to which they aspire to belong. Low resource, achievement motivated strivers seek identification with others like them. Psychographic segmentation can be more difficult and expensive than demographic or geographic segmentation. We don't want to read about the executive perspective again. So here's an example of lifestyle segmentation and how Cabela's uses that. Behavioral segmentation variables include occasions like wedding or business trip, loyalty, and usage rates. Many firms subscribe to the 80-20 rule, which suggests that 20% of heavy users account for 80% of the total demand of the product. Behavioral segmentation is often the most difficult of the four bases to use. The marketing research requires to track and understand how consumers behave with a certain product is very expensive and time-consuming. Just a minute, there we go. The main business-to-business demographic variables include industry, size of organization, and ownership structure. Segmenting by industry is an important first step that helps marketers determine which sectors of the economy might be most valuable to their business. The main business-to-business demographic variables include industry, size, I already said that, sorry about that. Social media is, by its very nature, all about sharing personal behaviors, tastes, activities, desires, and connections. Nevertheless, questions remain as to exactly how to engage consumers on social networking sites, and more importantly, who to engage. Social media and market segmentation. All right, so accessing demographic, geographic, psychographic, and behavioral information for international markets can be challenging. Even demographic information, which is typically the easiest to acquire, may be slow or completely unavailable. Another issue is that not all countries collect or classify their data in the same way. Global segmentation identifies a group of consumers with common needs and wants that span the entire globe. Regional segmentation divides consumers into groups whose needs and wants extend across the region or several countries. And then unique segmentation identifies a group of consumers with similar needs and wants only within one country. Companies can use international market segments to group together countries with market conditions that are materially the same in relation to the company's product. And then marketers today use an increasingly large number of consumer characteristics to divide markets, both domestic and international, into useful segments. Remember that segmentation should meet the 5 important effectiveness criteria discussed earlier to produce market segments that are substantially large enough for the firm to make a profit, measurable, differentiable, accessible, and actionable. So here's an example of unique segmentation. So typically, the higher the future growth rate, the more attractive the segment is. The more intense a competition within a segment, the less attractive it is to the marketers. Marketers should work to ensure that the target market selected fit with what the organization is and wants to be as defined in its mission statement. And then marketing analytics can provide detailed data such as gender, age, and lifestyle interests of target markets. And here is how Panda Express is expanding into new markets. So the three basic strategies for targeting markets include undifferentiated targeting, differentiated targeting, and niche marketing. An undifferentiated targeting strategy approaches the marketplace as one large segment. Differentiated targeting occurs when an organization simultaneously pursues several different market segments, usually within a different customized strategy, or usually with a different customized strategy for each. And niche marketing involves targeting a large share of small market segments. Here's how Frito-Lay uses differentiated targeting. And here's an example of niche marketing. Several grassroots organizations have been formed to promote ethical marketing to children. Marketing of reverse mortgages has helped seniors access the equity in their home and age in place rather than move into senior city housing or citizen housing. But it also has raised ethical questions from legislators and other stakeholders. They worry that this type of target marketing is potentially taking advantage of desperate seniors who may not fully understand what a reverse mortgage is or the associated upfront fees and costs. Here's another professional I'd like you to read about. So market positioning. Positioning does not occur in isolation. It is important for marketers to have a realistic view of how customers perceive competitive offerings. A perceptual map provides a valuable tool for understanding competitors' positions in the marketplace. Great marketers understand a competitive advantage and why consumers buy their firm's goods and services. Firms can choose to promote one or multiple competitive advantages as long as they can clearly articulate those advantages to their target market. Here is a sample perceptual map for cell phone carriers. And then evaluating feedback. In recent years, to accommodate fluctuating student work schedules, high gas prices, and a weak economy, universities began offering more online courses. Universities continue to position themselves as providers of quality higher education programs, even as they shifted their product to accommodate the additional features and conveniences their target market requires. A successful positioning statement should clearly reflect the steps of the positioning process, including the competitive advantages of the product. However, positioning statements should be short. A firm's positioning statement can be used as part of an external marketing strategy. First, though, it should serve as an internal guiding statement, keeping employees and other stakeholders aligned to the firm's guiding principles. Firms that maintain the same position year after year, even if it has been successful, can lose touch with changing customer preferences. And sometimes marketers choose to reposition the competition rather than change their own position. For example, Apple had success repositioning its PC competitors like Dell and Hewlett-Packard using the popular "I'm a Mac, I'm a PC" advertisements that compared the compatibilities and attributes of Macs and PCs. Here's how Elmer's Glue repositioned themselves. And then there is the key terms. So that is it for Chapter 7. Thank you.